Project 70 is color brightness adjuster. When I turn on the slide switch, the color LED comes on and flashes. Now I can use the lever on the adjustable resistor to adjust the brightness of it. On the lowest setting, the color LED is not very bright, but on the highest setting, it's much brighter. The effects are best noticeable in a dimly lit or dark room. A resistor is a device that limits the flow of electric current through a circuit. The higher the value of a resistor, then the more current that it can restrict. This is an adjustable resistor, so you can adjust how much resistance it has for the current flowing through the circuit. For this resistor, the resistance can be as low as 200 ohms, which it is now, or as high as 10,000 ohms, which it is on its highest setting. I modified the previous circuit to include the switcher, and when I move the switcher to the left position, the bicolor LED lights up as the yellow one. I can adjust the current flowing through it using the RV too. But if I move the switcher to the right position, the bicolor LED is now red. And once again, I can adjust the current with the RV2 by moving its lever. I replaced the color LED with the bicolor one, and it might be easier to notice the difference in current with this. And you can easily adjust how much current flows through the circuit, and therefore how bright the bicolor LED gets. You can have it in either position for this project. Project 73 is double brightness adjuster. I'm going to turn on the slide switch, and both the bicolor LED and color LED come on and blink. And I can adjust the brightness of the LEDs by moving the lever on the RV2. It's pretty simple. If desired, turn the bicolor LED around so that it glows red. For Project 74, two-way double brightness adjuster, I'm going to turn on the slide switch, and now the color and yellow LEDs come on. The bicolor LED is now yellow. The switcher is on the left setting, and I can control the flow of electricity with the adjustable resistor. Now if I move the switcher all the way to the right, the bicolor LED turns red, but it will still work. Now the color LED is still controlling the current flowing through the bicolor LED because both of these LEDs are wired in series. So if I was to remove one of them, the other one would go out. Project 75 is parallel double brightness adjuster. When I turn on the slide switch, both LEDs will come on and flash. You can use the switcher to change the color of the bicolor LED, whether you want it yellow or red. And you can just turn it off by putting the switch in the middle. And then the RV2 is used to adjust the brightness of the LEDs. Now let's see what happens when I remove the bicolor LED but leave the color one in place. The color LED might get a little bit brighter because now the bicolor LED is no longer taking energy away from the color LED. Project 76 is very similar to the previous one, except I replaced one of the battery holders with a 3-snap wire, and now that there's only 3 volts of power for the circuit, the LEDs are not as bright. They still flash though. And something that I should have explained in the previous project is that the LEDs are wired in parallel, and there is a single resistor that limits the current through both. And it is evenly divided between the two LEDs. You may also notice that it's hard for the camera nose, but if you do this yourself, you might see that the red LED in the color LED is brighter than the others because red requires less energy to work. Project 77 is secret resistors. When I turn on the slide switch, the color LED is on, but it's very dim. Now I'm going to move this 2-snap wire to these 2 points, and it is much brighter now. That's because the pivot stand contains resistors to limit current. With the 2-snap wire connected between these 2 points, the current will be flowing through a 10,000 ohm resistor in this portion of the pivot stand. So it's going to not going to be very bright. However, this path, which the current will flow through when the 2-snap wire is connected in this setting, has only 47 ohms of resistance, lower than the lower setting on the adjustable resistor. The 10,000 ohm resistor has the same amount of resistance as the highest setting on the RV2. Project 78 is adjustable alarm, sounds and light. I'm going to turn on the slide switch, and the alarm is not very loud. The color LED also flickers. And you can adjust the volume with the RV2, but on its lowest setting, the sound is barely audible. Now the color LED is acting like a resistor in itself to further restrict the current flowing to the speaker. So that's why the siren is not very loud. Now you can change the tone by moving this 2-snap wire around. I replaced the color LED with the bicolor LED, and you can have it in either direction. And I'm going to turn on the slide switch, and this time the LED does not blink or flicker. I don't know why they had those 1-snap wires underneath the LED, but it's just what the diagram showed. It's still not very loud.